Okay. Yeah. So to start with, I'll like today I'll cover like very basic questions that that are that might be asked in the interview. Uh, so first of all, what is Power BI and why do we use it? Like, what's the use of Power BI? So Power BI is basically a collection of various techniques and process that is used to uh, extract valuable information from any kind of data. Uh, and then once that data is uh, connected to Power BI, how do we transform and visualize it? So basically, Power BI is a tool which helps us uh, extract, transform, and then visualize the data. And why do we use Power BI? So, like the second question might come like, why do we use Power BI? What is the use of Power BI, right? So, Power BI is a visualization tool that helps us uh, create visualization and understand your data better so that you can derive insights out of it and help business perform or take informed decision, right? So basically the use of Power BI in simple terms we can say is to understand your data better, right? And there are like multiple visualizations that are present in Power BI, and we can like later on we can go through also like when do we use line chart, when do we use bar chart, like for which kind of uh, uh, information that you want to understand from your data, like what will be the best suited chart that you have to create, right? So these are like the very basic questions. What is Power BI? Why do we use Power BI? Right now, there are various uh, uh, types of, or you can say, uh, major components of Power BI. Right. So Power Query is like very effective thing that is there. We have Power Query, we have Power View, we have Power Pivot, we have Power Map, right? So when do we use Power Query? What is the use of Power Pivot, Power Map, Power View? All of these we can discuss in detail one by one. So like the question is basically what are the major components of Power BI, right? So Power BI is essentially a combination of these major components. Like using these individual components, once it's combined together, like it will, uh, we will have a Power BI tool, right? Now, what is Power Query? So it is basically an ETL application. Now, ETL, what is ETL? ETL is basically extract, transform, and load. So, this is an application which helps us extract our data from various sources. Now, that source can be Excel or some database or cloud applications, cloud or some APIs, right? So, those source can be like there are various sources, right? So E is ETL. Stands for extract. So you can extract data from various sources. Then you will transform data. Uh, by transformation, I mean like you can basically add columns or delete columns, any kind of transformation you want to do in your data, and then load it, load into the application, right? So this is basically Power Query is an ETL applications which helps in data cleaning, connecting to different data sources. Uh, so let's say you are getting sales information from one table and customer information from another table. So this Power Query will help you merge your data from various tables and have it in one place so that you can basically create visualization on top of it, right? So Power Query is one of the very important application, you can say, in Power BI, right? So you need to understand Power Query in depth. So that we will come later on, but then the question will be like, what are the major components of Power BI? So one of the major component is Power Query. Then there is Power Pivot. Uh, then there is Power View also, and Power Map. So Power View is basically for viewing your data visualization, right? And so we essentially not much use Power Map or Power View, right? Majorly that is used is Power Query and Power Pivot. So now what is Power Pivot? Power Pivot is basically for tabular data modeling. So Power Pivot is a data modeling engine that uses a language which is called DAX. DAX is basically data analysis expression. So this engine uses this language, DAX language, to perform the calculations. And this also helps in creating a relationship between various tables, uh, and it will be viewed as pivot tables, right? So these are the two most important components, right, which we need to focus for creating visualizations, right? And a Power View, as I mentioned earlier, also, like, it is for viewing your data visualization. So the view provides an interactive display of various data sources, right, for proper data analysis. Okay. So these are like the major components that you can basically call out in if anybody asks you, right? Then once you understand this, like these are like uh, interview questions for freshers. These are like very basic questions. Then somebody can ask you like, what are the various refresh options that are available in Power BI, right? So you have like 3 4 types of refresh options. One is data or model refresh. So this refresh, basically how it works is, you schedule the data import from all the sources, uh, and based on either refresh schedule or on demand, right? So basically you can schedule your refresh, the schedule the data import from like different sources that you have connected your Power BI tool, or you can do on demand also. Like, it's not necessary to schedule it. If you are not sure of the cadence that you want to refresh, then you can do it on demand also. So this is like one kind of refresh, which is like data or model refresh. The other will be visual container refresh. So what it will do is, it will only refresh or update the report's visuals and visual container. So as soon as your data changes, your uh, container or the report visual, the charts that you will prepare, that will get refreshed, right? And there is a third one, which is like tile refresh. So what it will do, it will refresh the cache on the dashboard every time the data changes, right? So these are the three types of refresh options that are available. You will majorly use the data model
What
refresh.
was the last one? I'm sorry. What was the
It is
last
the
one? Did you say tile?
tile refresh. Yeah.
Tile.
Yeah. TILE, tile. Okay. So majorly used refresh options are data or model refresh and visual container refresh. So data or model is basically used for data scheduling and refreshing, right? And the second one is like the visuals refresh, which is visual container refresh, right? Now, what are the like the fourth question I'm talking about is, what are the different types of connectivity modes in Power BI? Like how you can connect your Power BI with the data, right? So there are like the three different types of connections that are available. One is direct query connection. Second one is live connection. And the third one is import data. Now, what is the difference between all these three? So the direct query connection that we have, what happens here, like if you go for direct query connection, it will allow direct connection to the Power BI model. So what happens here, the data doesn't get stored in Power BI. Power BI will only store the metadata of the data tables involved and not the actual data, right? And what happens in import data, when I talk about import data, so once you choose this method, you upload the data into Power BI. So uploading data means like it will consume the memory space of your Power BI desktop, right? And but everything will be inside your Power BI tool. The data will sit inside your Power BI tool. There is a space limitation, like you will get only 1 GB. So you can have 1 GB of data stored. Like this is a limitation of Power BI tool if you go for import data uh, uh, connection method. But but the best part is, since your data is sits inside your Power BI tool, the performing various kind of actions while transforming your data, or while creating applications, or while refresh, it will be much faster as compared to the other two methods that I mentioned, which is direct query and live connection. I'll talk about live connection, but the other two are direct query and live connection. Those method uh, compared to those method, import data is the fastest because your data sits inside your Power BI tool. What is live connection? So live connection is similar to direct query method, but the difference is like it doesn't store any data in Power BI either. Like in direct query, you have like little bit of metadata stored, although like the entire data will not sit in your Power BI tool. In live connection, there will be no data stored in your Power BI, right? And one more difference is there in uh, live connection versus direct query. So in direct query, you can still configure relationship. Like if you look at the Power BI tool, we can go ahead in like the next session. So there are relationship tab where you can create relationship between multiple tables, right? That we can do through direct query method if we choose. But if you choose the live connection, you will not get any relation. You will not be able to configure any relationship within the tables inside the Power BI tool. So basically, the question is, what are the different connectivity modes in Power BI? And the answer is like it's direct query, it's live connection, and it's import data, right? They're like the three different types of connectivity modes available in Power BI, right? Now, now, what is so widely used Power BI is Power BI desktop. Now, if anybody asks what is Power BI desktop, you can simply tell that it is to access Power BI features, visualize data, create reports. We have a version of Power BI which is Power BI desktop. So with this version, you can extract data from various sources, transform them, create visuals or reports, and you can then, after once you complete all the visualization, you can share them using Power BI services, right? uh, and then one again, like the very basic questions anybody can ask is like, what are the various data sources that you can connect through Power BI, right? So there are like multiple data sources you can connect. One is again like widely used data sets that you can connect is Excel, CSV, then databases. By databases, I mean MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, etc. Right? Then you can also connect with the folders that is available in your uh, desktop. So you can connect with the folders, you can connect with PDFs, you can connect with web page, you can connect with cloud sources, APIs, but then widely used data sets that we use in industry or like anybody uses are Excel, CSV, databases, folders. These are like the four major or widely used data like data sets that we connect through Power BI, right? So I think these are the very basic questions that I've covered. Now, like if somebody asks you a little bit in depth or like intermediate question that we can call. So now, intermediate question that can be asked in interview is like, what is dashboard, right? Or what are the building blocks of Power BI? So the answer is same. Like if you understand how the entire process works, then you can answer these questions as well. So what is, let's say, what is dashboard? Somebody asks, what is dashboard? So dashboard, if you have gone through the Power BI interface, you have seen like there are the first tab at the left is dashboard. So dashboard is basically a single page on which you have like various elements to create and visualize reports created by like, and this is created by analyzing data, the data that you have prepared and loaded into your Power BI, right? So it comprises uh, only the most important data from the reports to create a story. So we can create a story also in dashboard, right? Or in Power BI. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, uh, tiles, right? Like tiles refresh. So what is tile? So the elements, visual elements that are present on the dashboard, those are called tiles, right? And those tiles you can pin also from the report, uh, and uh, clicking on any of this element on the dashboard will take you to the particular data set, right? Now let's say in your dashboard, that is like a single page which have multiple different visualizations. So if you click on one of the visualization, one of the charts, it will show like from which table it is connected, what all columns it's that is taking or that is using to create that chart. And if you want to see like what all calculations we have done, we can go through like that also. So basically the question is, what is a dashboard? And the simple answer you can tell is, dashboard is a single page canvas on which we have various elements present to create and visualize reports by analyzing data, right? And then what are the building blocks of Power BI, right? So the major building blocks, as I mentioned, is data set that you know, right? Data set basically is a collection of various sources like, as I mentioned, SQL Server, Oracle, all those, Excel, CSV, right? So data set is one of the building blocks of Power BI. So by building blocks, what anybody means, right? Like what are the various things that you use to basically create a Power BI dashboard, right? So the most important thing is required is data set, then uh, visualization, then reports, then dashboard. Now you will get confused, like what are the different, visualization is same, dashboard is same, right? So the wording is different, but the uh, and the meaning is little bit different. So data set is clear, right? Visualization is basically representation of data in form of maps, charts, tables, etc., right? And reports are a structured representation of data sets that consist of multiple pages. So in a dashboard, if you see at the bottom, you can create sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, like that. So you can create multiple pages inside it, right? So we call it as a report. And then there's a dashboard, which is like single page representation of reports made of various data sets, right? So these are the building blocks of Power BI. Okay. So I think uh, these are like a basic questions or intermediate few questions I've covered. But before going further, I just want to ask from you guys, like, do you have any questions or anything that you want to understand more? We can cover that as well. No questions?
I think it's
Okay.
clear.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. So before going further, let me ask you this question now. Like, since everybody is so silent, I just want to understand from you guys, like, which companies you're targeting. Like, any company where you have already applied or is in your mind that you want to try out.
Uh, Frankly speaking, it's any industry where they need Power BI, and in that sense, I hope like our SQL background will become handy. So in my case, I'll be open
Mm-hmm.
for any opportunity.
So Ben, if I understand
Same here.
correctly, like you guys have done some training in SQL, and like you guys have done some hands-on also on SQL. Like, are you guys more comfortable on SQL than Power BI? Like, or you all have taken like SQL again sessions or classes, and then Power BI classes, and then like now you are preparing for both of them, or how is it? Like, are you very comfortable with SQL?
Uh, Actually, maybe we stayed a little bit longer on SQL, but we should be working with Power BI. So from Power BI, definitely we might need, like, when you said ETL, in terms of that
Mm-hmm.
part, even SSIS we
Mm-hmm.
studied for a while, so we kind of understand how the ETL works from that end,
Mm-hmm.
and the SQL. But overall, as a Power BI person, we kind of covered those. So our main focus is going to be Power BI.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call Power BI editor or Power BI? I don't know the title, but it's going to be on
Developer.
Power BI. Developer. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, that is nice. So yeah, so I'll
I think you can explain a little bit better, Rafi.
sorry.
No, I mean you explained it well. Like he said, we cover pretty much at least in comfortable level with the SQL and SSIS. We had a little reservation on Power BI, and now things come a little clear. So
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else, we don't know exactly which industry. From my point of view, I don't know exactly which industry I have to pursue, but I probably we probably need some guidance from you guys, because we don't know which one is retail, is how retail, or the banking, or the the healthcare, or any of those, how they differ when it comes to Power BI. So if you give us a
Mm-hmm.
little bit overview how each one of them differ and what kind of expertise they require, that would be greatly appreciated.
Got it. So basically, see, uh, I think Power BI is widely used in all the industry, and uh, it depends, right? Like, the demand is equal in all the industries, because Power BI is such a powerful tool where you can visualize your data, and everywhere in all the industry we have data, right? So the difference only how it will be is, let's say you are working for a retail company, or uh, like very big retail company. So what will happen there is, there you will have sales data, you will have to see like how sales is going in a week, how much is the demand, and all of those. So the data sets that will be there will change in the backend, but the use or the data driven insights that we derive from that dashboard will remain same, right? Like, even if you create a dashboard for a healthcare company, right? Or I was in basically there was like pharma company for which I have created a Tableau dashboard, right? So what happens, like, the end goal is same. Like, from the dashboard, they want to understand how their business is trending weekly or monthly, and what kind of uh, basically action they need to take, right, to improve that. So through Power BI you can see like the entire trend for a year, or like for a month or for a week, and you can see, like, let's say for a particular month, your uh, uh, as I was there in pharma, I used to look at the programs, right? Multiple programs, promotional programs, right? So how it's uh, in this week, how much drop it has happened in that promotional program, or the how much people has attended your promotional program, whether it has increased or decreased, right? If it has decreased, so what has happened? Maybe the person that is taking your session in promotional program, that is not that well equipped. So from that, from the end number, what has not happened, or we can see at an overall level also, like what has happened to the overall program, how many of them are completed, how many of them are cancelled, right? And then we can deep dive also, like if the number of programs cancellation has increased, what are the reasons, right? So we can look at the various factors, what has happened there. So I think the end goal through this tool is the same in all the industry. There are no changes. Everybody wants to use this kind of tools to understand their data better, to derive insights, and then take informed decision or any action, so that they can basically get profitability out of their business, right? So any industry, if you select, that would be good, because the demand is equal in all the industries, I would say. So have I answered your questions or not?
Thank you. That's very clear. Yes.
Got it.
But can you go a little more how each industry will differ and what they require? For example, the way you explain it, I think is particularly for retail. And when it's come to banking, what kind of format or different visuals or charts or docs they use, or they all have the same standard and some kind of
Got it. So
formula
let's say,
for.
yeah, I'll tell you. Like, let's talk like about three different industries, right? One is like healthcare or pharma industry. Second one is retail industry, and third one is banking industry, right? So the banking industry, let me start with that. So if you look at the banking industry, what will happen? They will look at like how many. So they have customers, and there are like various kind of business that happens. Let's say credit card business, okay? So what they will see, that business will see how many people has not paid their outstanding balance, how many people has defaulted, or like there is a term that we use here, but then for you guys to understand how many people did not pay within the time limit, right? Why they have not paid, how much is the outstanding balance on top of their card, whether we need to looking at their balance, right? Whether we need to offer some different kind of card to them, right? So we can basically look at all these kind of data into various charts, right? So let's say somebody wants to look at the uh, line chart, okay? So we will see in month over month or year over year, how is the default rate happening, like how many people were defaulting last year versus, or whether we have made some taken some kind of decision this year so that our default has increased or decreased, right? So basis on those chart, if your chart is going up of the default rate, you will understand that something is wrong in the system, the way we are basically providing offers, or the way uh, the our sales rep is talking, maybe we are not doing a good job, and that's why the more number of people are getting defaulted, right? So that is one example for the banking industry. I have taken line chart, but here like in banking also, you can use line chart, bar chart, pie chart. So it depends on what kind of metrics you want to visualize, right? But the metrics will change in all the industry. As I mentioned, for banking, it will be default rate, it will be volume, or the number of people that is basically uh, uh, taking your card, right? So these kind of metrics that you will see in banking. Now let me come to sales. So sales is easier to understand also, and like widely used metrics are like how your sales is going weekly or monthly or yearly, right? So you can compare that. When do we use what kind of chart? We will cover that in our upcoming sessions. But depending on your metrics, like the sales, if you want to look at like is it going up or down, you can create line chart also. If let's say you have like two metrics, okay, sales and volume, like you want to see the sales is going up but your volume is going down, or your volume is going down, that's why the sales is going down. So you can create bar chart also, or two line chart. On one axis you will have sales, on one axis you will have number of people basically purchasing your, or volume that are coming into your basically store, right? So it depends like which chart is perfect for what kind of data to visualize, that we will see later on. But then uh, like the metrics here in the retail industry, you will see sales, volumes, uh, uh, maybe how is your revenue, profit, net profit of your company, right? So these are the metrics that you will visualize. And then to get to this, as you guys are already aware of SQL, so basically all the backend thing, like if you are aware of your data, if you know how your data is structured, what all columns are there in data, it will be very easier for you to visualize, because visualization is just creating a chart on top of the data that you have, right? And the final visualization will be a cakewalk for you guys, right? So for you are, I think you will be clear on like how the banking, what all metrics we look, what all metrics we look in retail. If I talk about like healthcare or let's say pharma, then it will talk about like drugs, how many uh, drugs, by drugs I mean medicines, like how many medicines for a particular let's say diabetes, or any kind of medical issue that you have. So how many medicines you are taking, how many people are coming to your store. I was working with pharma, so pharma was like how promotional program, so how the promotional program is happening, how many of them are completed, how many those are cancelled, what kind of attendees are attending your program, right? So all those kind of metrics. So if you compare, everything is same in all the industries, just that the metrics that you look at in each of the industry will differ, but the end goal and the way that we do it will be same across the board. So is it clear?
Thank you, it's clear now.
Got it. Okay, so I'll quickly refresh like today what we have covered, because I think we are on time also, but let me quickly just talk about like what all we have covered so that it's a refresher for you guys. So we started with what is Power BI, then why do we use Power BI, what are the major components of Power BI, what are the various refresh options that we have in Power BI, what are the different connectivity modes in Power BI, what is a Power BI desktop, uh, what is a dashboard, what are the building blocks of Power BI, uh, and what are the various data sources that we connect to Power BI, right? So I think these are few questions that we covered today, and you guys can maybe go through this video, or like if you want to learn more, you can research from your end also, and if you have